and welcome to the Mustard Seed Leadership Podcast, your weekly 7-minute spiritual leadership lessons. This series is called The Mobilizing Leader, the why and how of building through others. We hope you will find it helpful in your leadership growth. If you want to listen to the past episode or download the notes, please go to www.outlookchurch.co.za/mustard seed leadership. Now, here's today's episode.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Mustard Seed Leadership Podcast. We are on the final week of our series called The Mobilizing Leader. This is part 8. And if you have been with us for the whole journey, we spent the first couple of episodes looking at, why is it so critical that we learn to become mobilizing leaders who mobilize and empower others? And then the last couple of weeks, we've looked at how. How do we go about doing it? We looked at mobilizing leaders are not control freaks. You can't be a mobilizing leader and a control freak. We've got to open our hands to empower others. Mobilizing leaders build away from themselves. Remember, we want to release authority, release responsibility to empower others. Mobilizing leaders bury their pride. If it's all about you and your glory and your name, you're never going to be a mobilizing leader. In fact, the opposite. Mobilizing leaders wants to see others succeed and others prosper. And then last week, we looked at mobilizing leaders believe in others. We've got to see that 10. You actually got to believe in the potential in others, to call it out and see it grow and see it released. Look at the final episode today. And I want to talk about mobilizing leaders have big vision. Now, the simple truth is this. If you're a small visioned leader, in other words, you can basically accomplish the vision yourself or with a couple of helpers, then you don't really need to be a mobilizing leader. But if you're a leader who's got big vision, in other words, you've got the kind of vision that will span multiple locations, multiple teams, multiple generations. If you're the kind of leader who has big dreams, then you need to be a mobilizing leader. I think it was John Maxwell who said, one is too small a number for greatness. In other words, if you've got a big vision inside of you, you're going to have to be a mobilizing leader because the vision is bigger than you and it's going to extend further than you and beyond you. So we're going to take another look today at Nehemiah. I've used him before. In fact, in the previous series we looked at Learning to Lead in part 5, I used Nehemiah as an example of how to craft and cast a vision. And so I'd love you to go back and listen to that episode. What I want to do today is look at how Nehemiah mobilized people around a vision. And so there's 3 things we're going to look at. And the first one is this. As I mentioned, he cast a compelling vision. This is crucial. If you're going to be a mobilizing leader with big vision, and now you've got to mobilize people around that vision, you're going to have to learn to cast that vision in a compelling way. Nehemiah 2 verses 17 and 18. Then Nehemiah said to them, you see the trouble we're in. Jerusalem lies in ruins. Its gates have been burnt with fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem and we will no longer be in disgrace. I also told them about the gracious hand of my God on me and what the king had said to me. They replied, let us start rebuilding. And so they began this good work. And you see how he mobilized them. Here's the bottom line. For people to want to be mobilized, they're going to have to want to be part of the vision. So in other words, someone's not going to want to be mobilized. They're thinking, no, that's just more responsibility, more effort. So in other words, to mobilize people, they've got to be putting up their hand saying, yes, I want to be part of that. And they're going to be saying yes when you've captured them, when you've cast a vision that in their heart they're saying, yes, I want to be involved. People need to be convinced of the big why. So mobilizing leaders cast a compelling vision. Next thing we see in Nehemiah is the way he connected the people to that vision by breaking the vision down into manageable sections, helping people find their lane so that instead of one big, huge vision, he helped them find their role and connected them to the vision. Nehemiah 3 verses 1 and 2, Eliashib, the high priest, and his fellow priests went to work and rebuilt the sheep gate. They dedicated it and set its doors in place, building as far as the Tower of the 100, which they dedicated, and as far as the Tower of Hananel. The men of Jericho built the adjoining section, and Zakur, son of Imri, built the section next to them. I love that. They got a whole wall to complete right around Jerusalem. But instead of saying, here's the vision, go and find a brick and start building, what he did was broke the vision down section by section by section. And then he did a clever thing. He assigned sections closest to their homes because that would have been most dear to them. So in other words, if you lived in this house, right next to your house was this part of the section of the wall, he put you responsible. Here's your section from this column to that column or this gate to that gate. That's your section. That's how you can fulfill your role in completing this bigger vision. He helped his team, which was the whole city, understand their part in the vision. He divided the wall into sections and assigned people the section next to their houses that they were responsible for. And so he managed the vision. He broke it down, and that's critical. Mobilizing leaders connect people to the vision. Mobilizing leaders cast a great vision, and then they connect people to that vision. And the third thing I want to look at then is Nehemiah really cared for the people. Yes, he cared for the vision, but he actually cared for the people as well. Sometimes a leader can be so vision focused that people are just tools, instruments to get his vision accomplished. Nehemiah wasn't like that. He cared for the well-being of the people. Nehemiah 4 verses 19 to 21. Then Nehemiah said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, the work is extensive and spread out, and we are widely separated from each other along the wall. Whenever you hear the sound of the trumpet, join us there. Our God will fight for us. And so we continued the work with half the men holding spears from the first light of dawn till the stars came out. Now, Nehemiah knew there's going to be opposition to the building. There's going to be fatigue that sets in. And so he arranged the troops in such a way that they could stand together, fight together. Half of them were backing up and supporting the others. He cared for the well-being of the people. He encouraged them through the opposition. He stationed guards to protect them, and he kept them rallied together when the going got tough. Mobilizing leaders care for the people. They cast a vision, they connect people to the vision, and they care for the people of the vision and not just the vision itself. Mobilizing leaders have big vision, and they need to know how to use that vision well. And this is critical, and I really do pray that all of you listening, watching this, would be big vision people. And so I've got a couple of final questions for this little series that I want to leave you with. Number one, how big is your vision? I'd love you to take a moment just to consider. You see, if your vision is not bigger than you, then you're not really going to be a mobilizing leader. But do you carry a vision, a dream that's bigger than you? Because that's the reason why you need to be a mobilizing leader. Secondly, I want you to now imagine your vision is fulfilled. Just in your mind, picture that dream has come to pass, that organization, that church plants, nations, whatever it is. Imagine it's come to pass. Now imagine how many leaders are involved fulfilling that vision. The question is, how many leaders do you need to mobilize? Think about it right now. How many people are you going to need to mobilize if you see that vision fulfilled? And then thirdly, when it comes to vision, mobilizing leaders cast, connect, and care. Which of these might need work in your leadership? Do you need to work on the casting of a vision? Do you need to work on helping people find their lane and connecting? Or do you need to work more on caring for people so that they know you care? I really hope that this series has been helpful, mobilizing leaders. God's called us as leaders to mobilize others, and so I hope that it has helped you, and I'm looking forward to our new series kicking off next week. Until then, God bless, and bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Remember, if you'd like the notes that come along with this episode or any one of our past episodes, you can visit outlookchurch.co.za/mustard seed leadership, where you can see all our past episodes, all the resources and notes that go along with this. Until next time, keep growing.